Let me share my screen. Okay. In last session, what we have done, so let me come to this. We discussed about so how to work with the joins, right? And then what are the different types of joins, like left outer join, right outer join, inner join, and then so what is the purpose of the join? So we have discussed. Now today's session, so what we are going to jumping into so our actual snowflake things, actual the snowflake subject now. So previously whatever the things we have discussed related to data warehousing, related to the database, and then how to execute the queries in a database. Now let's come to snowflake sessions. If you observe, so first this particular trial account creation, so you can just go to our sign up account, you can create on your own, right? So this is the one thing. So once we created a trial account, then now observe this, our requirement is we have the data here, we have these files here, we have this is a text file, another one is this is a CSV file, comma separated values, this one is a CSV file. These files, whatever the data is available here, these files data, we need to load it into our snowflake tables. Now to do that, what we need to do is, already we have a table, I mean database. Inside the database we need to create a table structure, then only whatever the data is available here, we can able to load the data into our snowflake tables, right? Otherwise it is not possible. Now in this session we are going to see so how we are going to use completely user interface to create table. At the same time, once we created a table, we will load data into table, data into table. We will load the data into our snowflake tables. Now if you observe here, whatever the data we have here, this is a CSV file, and another one is, if you observe here, this one is this one is text file, this one is text file. Now the our requirement, so if you observe here, this first column names, first one is a column names, and these are related to records, these are related to records, and then this is the column names, right? Now so how to do that? So now we are going to these number of columns we have, and then these are the records here. Then how we are going to do with this, how we are going to create a structure. If you want to create a table structure, so how to create it, we will see that. Now our requirement, we will load this file into our snowflake tables. To load the data into the table, what we required in this database, we need a structure of the table. Structure means nothing but column names and data types. Now when you click on any table, it will give you ID, name, and then data type, right? If you click on another table, it will show you employee ID, employee name, and then data type, right? This is the structure of the table. Now observe this, what we are doing exactly here. Now to create a table structure, in previous session what we have done, to create a table, we have used create table, table name, and then column names, data type. This what we have done, we are using script, SQL syntax, to create a table. But here we are don't want to use this SQL. Without that, we are going to create a table, and then we are going to load the data into the table also. Previously, how we have loaded the data, we have implemented insert into the table option, right? Now just observe this, how we are going to implement it here. Let's come to this. Just a minute. Come to the database. We have a database. If you want to create a new database, click on this. The new database will be created. Okay. Now come to this database, class database. Here we need to create a new table. We need to create new table. Observe this remaining things we will discuss so in the later sessions. Now concentrate on tables. How many tables we have? These many tables, and then these are the number of records. This is the size of the table it occupied. And who is the owner of this table? Account admin. See this one, through which role you have created. So that is the owner of the admin here. Owner of the, so account admin. Owner of the table is account admin. This is related to role. Okay. Now coming to, we are going to create a new table structure. Click on create option. What we have done, we clicked on create option. And when you are clicked on create option, see this one, it is asking table name. We will create employee details table. EMP ETL, employee details. Okay, just for the identification we have given employee detail. Table name I have given. And what about the columns? When you observe this, how many columns we have? ID, name, salary, age, location. We have around 5 columns here, right? We have around 5 columns. These 5 columns we need to create. To create, what you have to do is just come here, employee ID, click on columns. This is the column name, and then another column, employee name. So this one, employee name. This is the another column. Next, another column. By default, it will give you employee salary. See this, employee salary. Next, what will be the another column? Employee age. Another one, employee location. Observe this, employee location. This is the employee location. Now we have 5 columns. But what about the data types? See this one, data types, employee ID, it will be an integer. Name string, salary again, it will be an integer number, right? And then next, so we have age, age is also again, it will be an integer. Then, so we have a location, location is a string. Now let's click on finish. Before going to click on finish, what it will do in the backend? What Snowflake will do in the backend? If you want to understand, just observe this. Click on show SQL. When we click on show SQL, so what we observe here, on behalf of us, the Snowflake has created a table structure here. See this one, the SQL statement. Create a table in this database, in this schema. This is the table name. This is column name, data types, column name, data type, column name, data type, right? And then, so this particular SQL, what it will do, it will run in the backend based on the selection in the user interface selection, whatever the selections we have given. Based on this, in the backend Snowflake, it will create a SQL, and then this SQL will be filed on the database. Then so it will run. Now observe this one. When you click on finish, the table created, employee details table created. See this, if you want to see, so how many columns we have, click on the table. See this one, these are the columns, right? So what we have done in this database, we created a table structure. When you come to the worksheet, instead of creating this with the command, we have created a table structure by using user interface options, right? Okay, now let's come to this. Now here, if you want to see that whatever the table we have created, can you able to see the table here? No, right? What you have to do is we have to refresh it here. Just click on refresh. When you click on refresh, you can able to see employee details, EMP DTL, right? Now you can able to see this one, employee details table is available, right? When you click on the table again, it will show you the description, column names and data types, column names, data types. Okay. Now this table is available. Now this table, who created? See this one, owner. account admin, created on, when we have created, what is the table name, how many records we have, what is the size. It is showing all this information, right? Saying that, so table is available, but we don't have any records. We have zero records here. Now, what we need to do, we are going to load the data, whatever the data is available here in this particular text file. We need to load this into this particular table by using user interface option. Just observe this, what we are trying to do. Again, come to the database, come to the table. What is the table name? This is the table name, employee details table, right? If you come to the database, we have a table. Click on the table. We have a columns and we need to load the data into this particular table. If you want to load the data into this table, just observe we have a option called load table option. Load table option. Just click on load table option. Just observe. So what are the things it is showing to us? See this one. It's asking warehouse and it is asking next thing is source file. It is telling that source file. Next thing is file format, load option. We will see all these things, what it means by that. When it is coming to warehouse, right? This is nothing but computation layer. So we will discuss more on this. Okay, this is very important topic in Snowflake. Warehouse means nothing but, don't get confused with data warehouse. This is nothing but virtual warehouse where we are going to execute your queries. It's a processing layer. Let's say, assume that, so you can relate it to VDIs or remote desktops. Nothing but it's a system where we are going to connect. Now here, let me cancel this. If you come to the worksheet, see this one, you will have a warehouse, right? So this is computation processing layer. Snowflake will charge based on this computation layer utilization. How much time we are going to utilize this. Based on that, it is going to charge from the users. Okay. In simple, you can relate it to, suppose let's assume that you have taken a laptops for rent. Whenever you are using that laptops, how much time you are going to use, based on that only you are going to pay the rent. Okay, and at the same time, that, so whatever you are going to pay, that depends on configuration of your laptop. It means if you observe here, there will be sizes. This is nothing but configuration. See this one, later we will come and then discuss again. Just like try to so understand this. See this one, these are the t-shirt sizes. Based on the t-shirt size, your charge will depends. When you are working with pricing and then all those things, we will discuss again. See this one, extra small 1 credit, small 2 credits, medium 4 credits, large 8 credits, right? So each and every size, based on that, it is going to charge. Same way in your system configuration, like 4 GB RAM, 8 GB RAM, 12 GB RAM, right? Whenever the configuration is increasing, your price will increase, right? Why? What is the purpose of increasing the configuration? For the performance, right? The same thing you can relate it here. So this is nothing but your virtual warehouse where we are going to execute our queries. Now let's come to this one. So here, come to the database, and when you click on load table, what it is asking, which virtual warehouse. This is a default one which is already available. We will use the virtual warehouse and click on next. What it is asking, where is your source file, which file you need to load the data into the tables. It is asking, right, load files from your computer or load files from external stage. What it is asking here, load files from your computer. If your files is available in our system, that is on premises, okay, available with us. If your file is available in cloud locations, then we will call it as a external stage. When you are working with when you see integrated with AWS and then Azure or GCP, we will see that how to work with the external stage. When you click on this, see this one, AWS S3, Microsoft Azure, and then GCP, right? All these are the external stages. External stages. Now, where is our file located? Is in my system, right? This is my path of my system, right? So in this particular folder, in this particular path, this file is available, right? This is in my local system. So we will call that as a load files from your computer. This is internal, all on premises. Okay. Now click on select file. When you click on select file, it will ask you to give the path where your file is available. Where our file is available, this is our file. Click on that file. Now click open. When we click open, observe this. Click on selected, the file has been selected. Click on next. When you click on next, what it is asking? File format. File format. Why you require a file format here? Okay, coming to that. If you observe this file, as a human, we can able to understand this file. First row is column names, and remaining rows, remaining lines are our data. And at the same time, each and every column separating with comma. See this one? Each and every column we are going to separate with comma, right? It is separating with comma here. Now, so here observe. So this particular line, so when it coming to new line, it is considered as a new row. See this? This is our first line. This is second line. So this is third line. This is fourth line. When it is coming to each and every line, we can consider this as a new row. And one more important thing is each and every column, it is separating with comma separate delimiter. Delimiter means what is separating in between the column, that is delimiter. When you are dealing with a file, the complete file should be with single delimiter, then only it is a valid file. You can have any delimiter, like this is a comma separating in between the column to column, right? In place of comma, if you have pipe like this, so this one, if you have a pipe like this, then we will call this as a pipe separated delimiter. The complete file should be with the same delimiter, then only it will be a valid one. Otherwise it is not a valid one. Based on what is separating, we will call it as a delimiter. By seeing this, we can understand this is a text file, and then this is a comma separated delimiter. First row is your so column names, then remaining all are the records. So when it is coming to the new line, we can consider this is a new row, right? But how come Snowflake will understand so this particular file, how to read that particular file, right? How the Snowflake has to read that particular file? For that, we need to create a file format. We need to create file format. Now observe this, what we are doing. Just click on plus symbol. So before that, if you click on drop down list, we don't have any file format. This is the first time we are loading. So we need to create a file format. Click on plus symbol here and give the file format. Just give file format, the same name, and schema name. By default, let it be. And observe this format type, CSV. See this, what all the types of the files Snowflake will support. This is the one of the interview question. See this, what all the type of files Snowflake will support. CSV file, JSON file, XML, Avro, ORC, Parquet. These are the 6 type of files Snowflake will support. But mostly we will familiar with CSV or XML. What about others? Like we have a JSON file, we have a Avro, ORC, and then Parquet. These are semi-structured files. We will see that how to work with the semi-structured files also later. Now, so we are working with a CSV file. How many types of files Snowflake will support? Totally 6 type of files. JSON, CSV, XML, Avro, ORC, and then Parquet. Now come to the CSV file, comma separated value. Okay, and compression method auto. Compression method auto. What Snowflake will do is when it is loading the data, it will compress the file and then it will keep it into our Snowflake. Okay, so that way, so compression will be there. Okay, we will show you in the next session. So how it will be compressed. What is the format of compression also? Now, column separator. What is separating in between column to column in this file? Comma is separating, right? That's why comma we have. If it is any other things, click on this drop down, vertical bar, tab, so none or other means, for example, if hash is separating in between the column to column, then give that one. So if a semicolon is separating in between the column to column, then we can give that one. So column separator, by seeing the file we can understand what is the type of separator, that is comma here default. Now what is row separator? When you can consider that is a row. See this one, when it is coming to new line, we need to consider that as a row. Here, same thing, right? When it is coming to the new line, every new line is a separate row. That's why you have new row separator is new line. And skip lines, header lines to skip. This one is what you have by default 0. But why you need to skip the header here? When you are loading a file, this particular file, the complete thing is not data. First line is your column names. This is not your data. Already we created a structure, right? Already we have created a structure here. But when it is loading the data, we should not consider that as a data. That's why we need to skip first line. If you want to skip first 5 lines from a file, or if you want to skip when you are loading, when you are selecting, that is a offset, and then sorry, when you are selecting, we have offset and then limit option, right? That is a different story. But here, when you are loading the data, we need to skip first 2 lines from a file or first 5 lines from a file. Then what you have to do is you have to mention the number here. If you mention first 1, skip header lines to skip 1, then it will skip the first record from the file. If you mention 2, these both will be skipped. 3, these 3 will be skipped, and then it will load the data. That is nothing but header lines to skip. These are the things what we need to remember in file format. Observe this: schema name, format type CSV, comma separator, row separator, and then header lines to skip is 1. Now just click on finish. When I click on finish, so this file format will be created. Every selection whatever we are doing here, it will be, if you click on show SQL, in the backend it will create a SQL statement for that particular file format, right? Now let's close this. Now remaining all are default option. Don't worry about this. Leave it blank. So only the thing is file format, format type, column separator, row separator, header lines to skip. These are very important. Now, when you click on finish, file format is created. See this one? Now, by using this file format, when you are loading, we are telling to Snowflake, use this file format. What we have in this file format? We, we are telling that the file is a CSV file. You need to skip the first line, and then this is a comma separator, right? We are telling to that particular file, so it will understand. Now what is the next step? Next, see this one, load options. Load options. Now when you are loading the data into the table, what are the load options it is available? See this one, what should be load if if it encounters an error while parsing a file. It means when you are loading a data, if you receive any error, then what it has to do. See this one, if you select do not load any data in the file, it will not load anything, just it will skip. It will skip. And then if you click stop loading, roll back and return errors, what it will do is when you find error, it will stop load and it will show you the return errors. It will show you the errors. First option will not show you the errors, just it will stop loading. That's it. Second option, this is the default option. It will show you the errors when it is loading the data. If you have any errors, that is stop loading, rollback, return errors. Next thing, do not load any data in the file, counter error and count exceeds. It means, okay, just allow first two, first two errors. Then we can mention threshold. Threshold means, so what it will do is observe this. So when you are doing something, so wherever you have this question mark symbol, just move the cursor on that. You will understand what it means by that. What it is telling, to specify the error count as a percentage, add a percentage sign at the end. Error count means it will allow two errors. It will allow two errors. After two errors, it will stop. Do not load any data in the file if the error count exceeds more than two errors. If you give, for example, five errors, so it will allow up to five errors. If it is more than five errors, it will stop loading the data, right? That is the meaning of this. Do not load any data based on error count. And another one, continue loading the data from the file. Even though if you have errors, don't worry about the errors. Just load the data. Just load the data. We will see each and every option when we are loading the data into the file. So these are the validation options. We used to call it as a validation options. We will see each and everything, how these validation options will work. Now, what is the default one? Stop loading the data, right? Stop loading, roll back and return the errors. Rollback means whatever the data it has loaded, roll back, right? So don't keep anything commit. Commit means save. Rollback means don't save. So it will undo operation, right? Stop loading, roll back and return errors. Show me the errors reason, right? These are the things what we have done. So now when you click on load, the data will be loaded from the file to the Snowflake table. Before clicking on load, just click on show SQL. Observe this option. We are going to click on show SQL option. When I click on show SQL, what it has given? It has given some SQL statement. What is this? This is very important. Now, in the next sessions, we are going to discuss about this. So what it will do is Snowflake in the back end, just a minute, in the back end from, observe this is the file format, and then this is the on error. I will discuss each and every option. Whatever the selections we have done in our user interface options, like we selected a warehouse, we selected a source file, we selected a file format, we selected load options. Based on this, it has given this particular option, particular statements. Now, what it is doing is, in high level, just observe this. When you are loading the data from file to Snowflake table, it will not load data directly into your table. What it will do is, it will keep the data into stage area. From the stage, it will load the data to the table. Always remember this. Any file, when you are loading the data into our Snowflake tables, first it will keep that into the stage area. Then it will load the data to the table. Then it will load the data to table. This is the process. So why? Okay, when you are doing this, what is the purpose of stage? Stage is temporary area where we are going to keep the compressed files. And so after compressed files, when you keep that in a stage area, we can implement data cleansing activities. Data cleansing activities. So that is the purpose of the stage. Okay, we will see that. So how exactly we can able to work with the stages. Different types of stages also available in Snowflake. Now just remember this: file to stage, stage to the table. This is always, it's a mandatory. We will keep the files into the stage, then we are going to load the data to table. Okay, in this above, so this particular statement, what it has done is, it is keeping the file from this particular path. Put file from this particular path into this particular stage area. This is nothing but a stage. This is nothing but stage. How it looks like, what is, so how to create a stage, we will see that. This one, it's default created. We didn't created anything. Next, what it is doing, see this one, copy into, this is a table, right? Emp detail table available in public schema in a class database. Copy into this particular table from stage area. This is a stage area, right? This is stage area. This is telling that from this particular stage, load the data into this table. When the data is loading, use this file format. See this one, file format equal to, this is the file format which we created, right? In that file format, we are telling that that is a CSV file. You need to skip the first header lines, and then so you need to so load the so data, right? We are telling that in a file format, CSV file, and then so it's a comma separated delimiter, right? And then load options, on error equal to abort statement. What we have given in the load options, we selected on error equal to abort statement, right? That's why it has given. And it is telling that purge equal to true. This one, what it will do is, whatever the file, we are going to keep it in stage area, right? Once the file loaded into the table, it will remove that from a stage area. It will remove the file from stage area. It will not keep that. When you keep that data file in the stage area, it will, storage will be increased, right? That's why this is the default option, it will come. Okay, so now in the next sessions, we are going to discuss about each and every option in detail. Okay, don't worry about this at this moment of time. Just if you observe here, what we are done by using these UI options, we are trying to load the data into our table without any SQL statement, right? We have, what we are doing, just we have selected all the options based on our requirement. Now observe this, we are going to click on load. When you click on load, what happened? The file, see this, it is parsed 4 records. Parsed means how many records it picked from the file. Loaded, how many records it's loaded into the table. How many records it picked, that is, so rows picked. How many records loaded, that is how many records so loaded into the table. So how many records, picked the records and then loaded records. So this is the, so now let's click on OK. Now the data has been loaded. If you want to check the data, come to the worksheet, refresh it. What is the table here? EMP detail table. See this one. How many records now you can see? 4 records. If you want to see the details, so generally what you will do, you will use select star from, what is the table name? EMP detail. You will write a query, right? Instead of that, if already we connected to this database and then schema here, then just click on this or preview data. Preview data. See this one? Preview data is nothing but the same query. Whatever the query we have written here, the same query, instead of preview data, you can use the preview data option to see the data in the table. See this one? Whatever the data is available in this file, we have loaded this data into our Snowflake tables by using user interface options, right? Okay. Now that is a text file what we have loaded. Now we have another file. How many columns we have in this? We have around 5 columns, right? Now we have here CSV file, comma separated value. When you open this file, this particular CSV file here, see this same columns, ID, name, salary, age, and location, right? Now same data types and then same structure. Now we can load this file into same table because the same structure. If the structure is same, then only we can load. Otherwise, it is not possible. Now,
So,
previously we
Dinesh,
already.
sorry to
Hmm.
interrupt you.
Yes, yes, go ahead.
Which means we need to
Hmm.
create table already. Once we create the table,
Exactly.
then only we load
That
the
is true.
data.
That's true.
Yeah.
If the structure is available, then only we can load the data. Because already we created a structure with the employee details here, right? ID, name, employee, salary, age, location. See this one? Same structure is available. ID, name, salary, age, and location. Same table, we can able to load the data by using this particular CSV file. One thing we need to remember here is when you are loading, if it is a Excel file, Snowflake will not support. Then how to convert this Excel file into comma separated values? Just click on a file and click on save as. If you create this data in a, like for example, um, Excel file, if you want to save that as a CSV file, save as option, click on save as option. Here you will get, see this one. Generally, if it is a Excel file, then it will be, if it is Excel workbook, Excel SX, right? Then if you want to store that into CSV format, if you want to convert that, comma delimited, see this one, comma delimited, just click on CSV and then click on save. Then your Excel file will be saved into CSV format. If your file is in CSV format, then only we can able to load the file. If you observe here, this particular file also, see this one. So this is a comma separated values file, right? This file, we are trying to load the data into our Snowflake tables. Now, previously, how many records we have loaded? 4 records we have loaded, right? Now we will try to load from CSV file. To do that, now again come to the database. Again, which table we want to load? The same employee details table, right? Click on load table option and this is the warehouse. By default, it will be selected. Next, source file. Where is your file is available? Select the file. This is the path, right? Select the path and then open. Now the file selected, CSV file, and again click on next. File format is also same, right? This is also CSV file. First line, if you observe the Excel file, first row is our column names, right? This is our column names. This is our data, right? So you need to skip the first row. Now come to this. So same file format we can use and then again click on next option. Now load option. See this one. Previously, when you observe load option, when you select this, stop loading written errors, what is the statement it has given? On error equal to abort statement. Now, for example, if I check another option, continue loading valid data, then observe the statement what it is giving. See this, on error equal to continue. Instead of abort statement, what it has given here, on error equal to continue. It means based on selection, it has given a different values, right? So now, so click any option you can select, click on load, click on load. Now observe what is happening. File, how many records we have there in this particular file? 8 records, right? 8 records it picked from that particular file and then 8 records loaded into the table. Now observe that, come to the worksheet, refresh it. Now check the details here. See this one. Total how many records now we have loaded? 12 records. See this one. We have first 4 records loaded. Next we have loaded 8 records. All these things how we are doing? Without using any SQL statement, by using user interface options only, right? User interface option means nothing but whatever the option we are getting it here. These are the user interface options, right? By using this, so we have loaded the data so into our tables. So these are the shortcuts. So what Snowflake has given to us. But one limitation here, when you are clicking on, when you are, just a minute guys, one second, I'm sorry. So there is a one limitation. So here, when you are clicking on load table option, right, this is a user interface option. When you are doing that, so you have, if your file is greater than 50 MB file, if it is greater than 50 MB file, you cannot use that load table option. That is the limitation. Then, so how to handle that? We have another option called command line interface. Now, how we connected, or we will call it as a Snow SQL, Snow SQL, Snow SQL. Now here, what we have done, how we connected with the URL, we connected to our Snowflake account. Then we are doing all these things by using user interface option, right? Now forever, so any limitations, whenever you have a limitation of loading the data from the file, it means if it is a huge volume of the file, then only we will come to CLI. 90% of the time we are going to work with this user interface option. Only when you are using these two commands, put, remember this, get, to execute only these two things only, we will come to our CLI. Otherwise, every time we are going to work with our user interface only. There is a limitation. So when you are loading the data, this load table option will not work if it is greater than 50 MB of the file if you are trying to load by using user interface option. For that, what you need to do, we need to connect it to Snow CLI or Snow SQL. In the next session, I will show you how exactly we have to implement this Snow CLI or Snow SQL, how to implement that. Now, what I will do is,
Sir,
play whatever the
excuse me, sir.
files. Yes, yes. Tell me.
If the data type in the table is
Hmm,
mismatched with the data type, what
hmm.
we are
You will
loading
get the
into
error.
the okay,
We will get error. It will
so
tell
it
you
won't load.
the reason of the, it won't load. It will throw error and then it will show you the reason of the failures. All those
Okay.
scenarios, right? So I will show you practically. So how to handle the validations, how to handle the errors. If the data type is mismatching or the length is mismatching, or if you want to truncate something, so how to identify if the file is having any errors when compared to our table structure, how to handle that, we will see each and everything with examples. Okay,
And also, if
now
we want to
mm,
change the data type, also we can change directly from here, or we have to run the query.
we have to run the query.
Okay.
Okay, so here, so if you observe, see this one load table option, already the table is created. So if you click on the table, so observe this, so this is the table. So you don't have any option to like so do that, so change the table, right? If you observe, so create like option is there, right? So that is different thing. So but if you want to change it, so then we have to change it from our, so this particular, so worksheet, so by using a SQL statement. Okay, so that is nothing but a alter statement. We will discuss that now. So let's come to this one. So let me finish this. So what we have done, simply we have loaded the data from, one is text file, another one is a CSV file. What we will do is, I will send these two files to your email IDs, to all your email IDs. So please try to load the data by using the same option, whatever we have done here, right? The same way, try to implement it in your system. Okay, in your account, in your Snowflake account, you have to load both the files. One is a CSV, another one is a text file. So just load the options, and then so if you have any questions, note it down. So when you are doing that, we will discuss in the next session. Okay, this is the assignment for you guys. I will send, so in another 10 minutes I will send these scripts and then recorded video also, so you can go ahead and then you can practice. Okay, any questions here from anyone? Any questions, guys?
Are we meeting tomorrow, sir?
Yeah, Prithvi, telling
Okay.
something?
Oh, yeah, are we having a meeting tomorrow, sir? A class or a session?
Tomorrow we don't have class.
Okay. The next one, Wednesday, right?
Yep. Next
Okay.
is Wednesday. You are Tuesdays and then Thursdays we don't have class.
Okay.
Okay,
So
remaining all days we have class. Yeah.
Monday, Wednesday,
Okay.
Friday, and Sunday?
Yep.
Okay.
Also, Sunday also we have.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Prithvi.
Mhm.
Any other questions from anyone? Okay, fine, guys. If you don't have, we will wind up the session. We will connect day after tomorrow. Thank you. Bye. Yeah. Please practice and then let me know if you are facing any issues or any questions. Yeah. Thank you. Bye.